Hello and welcome to Coffee Talk. Today we're going to go through Ten Hag's post-match press conference after the 2-1 win, late winner by Scott McTominay, in what was a pretty terrible performance, but we won 2-1. Thank God we've got prime Thierry Henry on the bench. We didn't have to wait. We didn't have to wait until international duty to see the Scottish Messi, to see Scott McTominay turn into prime Thierry Henry. He actually did it for Manchester United, probably because it was close to the international break. You know, it was the final 7 minutes before the international break, so that's why my guy was prime Thierry Henry. He adjusted a little bit early to go to Scotland, but yeah, now he's at Scotland. Now Harry Maguire's with England. Thankfully, he as well. We saw prime Maldini, Harry Maldini, at the weekend as well. Harry Maguire played well. And yeah, without further ado, let's play the video. All right. Was this bit necessary to film? Could you not have started this? I mean, we're 15 seconds in. All we've seen is coughing and people finding the seats. Do you really think this bit was necessary to include? I reckon it could. This is intro, by the way, on the title. Intro, brilliant. What an intro! Thank you for the introduction, my guy. So, is that a microwave? Someone bloody eating the dinner. Listen to this. What's going on here then? Someone's bloody having a rustlers. It's not the time for that, my guys.
I think on the line you don't have time to be in doubt. You have to think how till the last minute how you can turn this and how you kept the belief, how you can influence the process. And so, yeah, I was not in doubt. I don't have time for that. I have to coach the team.
Scott McTominay as well. What does that say about his mentality?
If you didn't hear that question for that first answer, neither did I. Ten Hag match summary. I think he's just sat down and started talking. I don't think anyone asked him a question.
A lot. He's Man United in every vein, in his heart. So he's playing for the badge. He gives his life. And when you're coming on and you give this to the team, that tells a lot. It tells also a lot about this dressing room. They are together, and also I felt the whole afternoon strong togetherness with the fans, because even when we were losing, they kept standing behind us. They kept us going. The team kept going, and finally we get rewarded.
Yeah, the fans are fully behind Ten Hag. There have been some boos in recent weeks, but that's expected really with the poor performances at home. This would have been like the third home loss in a row, so you can understand. But after that, say that first goal, you know, the pressure mounting, the fans, pressure from the fans mounting as well on Brentford. They like suck the ball into the suck the second goal in, don't they? That's you know, United fans, the atmosphere at Old Trafford can be daunting for the opposition if the momentum is with us and the fans are behind the team. But equally, with our terrible performances, you can understand the fans being frustrated. But I'm pretty sure almost everyone is behind Ten Hag. Everyone is. Most online fans, most, you know, regular match going fans, everyone's behind Ten Hag. You do get some comments saying, "Oh, Ten Hag out" and stuff, but I think they are the anomaly.
He said,
on Scott McTominay, yeah, it is nice to see. Like, I think he said I think he's been at the club since he was about 7 years old. So it is nice, scoring in Fergie time after Fergie's wife unfortunately passed away. I think it was a good homage to him to have an academy lad come off the bench and score in Fergie time. So yeah, Scott McTominay. The first one, I've watched that first goal a few more times. I didn't comment on just what an incredible touch that first one was. That's coming at him at like a really awkward height, right? It's like above his hip almost, and he gets his foot high, controls it perfectly, one touch, then bang with a finish. That was an incredible goal. And of course, Scott, he used to be a striker, and then they changed him to a midfielder. But in the academy, in his youth, he used to be a striker. I don't know at what age actually. That'd be interesting to find out. At what age did he transition into a midfielder? But he still retained that finishing ability. So yeah, hopefully he can continue doing that off the bench, or maybe he'll start the next match. I don't think he will start, but if he can do that off the bench on a semi-regular basis, that'll be great.
TV afterwards that he couldn't hear what you were telling him on the side of the pitch. You probably said score a goal. What were you trying to tell him?
I said score 2 goals.
Incredible banter.
I think it was clear. I said put Christian Eriksen down, left fullback, and go up and make the box, and bring the energy, but make the box. Finally, is that in that moment you felt we were stronger. I think for a lot of spells in the game, we got the switches, but it takes a long before we got the numbers in the box. And we built up that game, and finally we got the numbers in the box. And when you don't enter the box, you don't score goals.
Scott's a player who's played lots of different.
Yeah. I mean, the way that we scored was playing like Burnley. But we just lumped the balls into the box. That's the way, especially that final goal, where it was just like a long diag from Bruno Fernandes to Harry Maguire, who heads it, and then Scott McTominay just had. I mean, there was only from the halfway line there was 2 passes. Bruno, long ball in, Harry Maguire headed on, McTominay header, and we created almost nothing all game. And our 2 big chances have come from being anti-football, Sunday League football. A Sunday League team could have scored that. All you need is a good ball into the box. Granted, it was a great ball into the box from Bruno, but Ten Hag is saying we didn't get enough numbers into the box, but I don't want to play like that. That was like last ditch. That was a roll the dice right at the very end. Just fill the box. It's different to want your midfielders to arrive in the box. Like in the last action of the move, you want your midfielders arriving late into the box to finish chances. That's a little bit different to you've got almost everyone in the box. Harry Maguire's basically playing at striker, and you're lumping the balls into the box like Burnley to try and just make something out of nothing. Which that's what we were doing at the end.
Different roles in his career, but for his national team, he's been playing that advanced midfield role, scoring goals recently. Do you see a future for him doing that for United?
Yes, of course. That's why he's here. So he's one of our midfield players, and he can make the boxes. You see, and against Burnley he played. And then he should have played against Crystal Palace, but then he was ill. And then he come out of the team, and then others taking over. But he has, as everyone, fight for his position. But of course, when it helps, when you when you contribute like this afternoon.
That's interesting. So it seems like Ten Hag wanted to play Scott McTominay more than what he has. But he was ill. But in the last game, what was it? The last game that Scott McTominay started, he was absolutely diabolical. There was a moment, there was a clip of him where he just didn't. It was like jogging back, where he lost the ball and then was jogging back, like really lackadaisical. Like it seemed like he didn't care. Obviously he does, but it's interesting to see when players they look like they don't care and not putting effort in, when they obviously do. I mean, Scott obviously cares. He's been at the club since 7 years old, so yeah, he did have a bad few games, but hopefully this can sort of kick him on. Now, do I want to see Scott McTominay starting for United week in, week out? Not really. Do I want to see Scott McTominay coming off the bench week in, week out and grabbing 2 goals? Absolutely.
The substitutes had a good impact. What was the thinking behind taking Casemiro off at half-time for Christian?
I wanted more football. One who brings passing, distribution, link-up play so I thought bring Christian Eriksen for Kasse.
Oh my God. That's pretty brutal, isn't it? I mean, I understand what he's saying. Obviously, all the attributes that you mentioned, passing, Christian Eriksen's passing range is better than Casemiro's. Casemiro can contribute to a goal and an assist, we know that. But in general, Christian Eriksen's more of like a ball-playing midfielder than what Casemiro is. Casemiro also gives you a lot of like defensive attributes that Christian Eriksen doesn't. But more football. I wanted to play more football. I know what he's saying, but that just sounds brutal. And I think if I'm Casemiro hearing that, you wanted to play more football, I think I'm taking that badly, to be honest. I think I'm taking that badly. I personally don't think that's the best response. Maybe it's a translation issue. I wanted to play more football. I know what he's saying in that, like I say. But he can say, I just wanted someone a little bit more creative. He could say all that stuff without saying the words, I wanted more football, as if Casemiro was a detriment to Manchester United's football playing ability. Even if that is true or not, I mean, it's bold. He is very bold. He's a bold fella, but it's bold of him to say that, and no wonder. Look at him.
Eric, it was an impressive end to the game, but the first half must have given you concerns.
I think we controlled the game without creating many chances, but also we controlled the game, and we had to get more box entries, but I think we came in opponent's half. We control their counters and they are quick. They are good on counter-attacks. We didn't allow them counter-attacks. They got some standards, some set plays. They are very strong in it, and they got 2 opportunities from it. But we didn't allow them one shot, and I think we had some opportunities. And then same story again. We concede a goal. We make, I think, on the decisive moment, totally the wrong decision. 2-3 players. We starting without VI formation, and then we easy giveaway, and it sums up a little bit our season. Such easy giveaways, you get punished. Top football, and we have 2 good players to act like this. So this has to be a turning point, but also it has to be a restart because we have to get into higher levels. But that the spirit is good, that the belief is good, so that the team is together. We have shown that. We have shown strong character, and it can be a turning point in the season, but it's up to us.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a turning point. We can't continue to play like we did. we didn't create much opportunities, but also Crystal Palace didn't. The game was completely dead. But then again, when Crystal Palace go in front, the game was still dead. Yes, Crystal Palace didn't create opportunities, but they're in front. They don't need to. Crystal Palace created nothing other than basically the goal. Like, they created very few chances, but the onus is on us to take the game to Crystal Palace, be knocking on the door. At no time did I think Manchester United could score. We created something out of nothing when Scott McTominay came on. But there wasn't... Actually, before Scott McTominay came on, perhaps 85 minutes onwards, we looked like we could score. But until then, for the 85 minutes preceding that, we were taking shots from... if you have a look at the stats, it looks silly. It looks like, United dominated. Because I think we had 20 shots or something in total. But all of those were really, really long distance efforts. If you watch the highlights after the game, I think most of Manchester United's chances were... I think Christian Eriksen had a long range shot. Did Bruno? I think, or everything was just long range efforts. We never broke Crystal Palace down at all. We never put in any crosses that looked particularly dangerous. It was it is concerning. It is concerning, the lack of chances that we create, and that is the story of pretty much every single match that we have. We don't create enough chances. Højlund, bloody hell, it might as well have me up there instead of Højlund, because we created nothing for him. Absolutely nothing. I think he had a shot that was at the tightest angle that you just never score him from there, and that was the only shot he had of the game. Just shooting from impossible angles just to try and get a shot away, but he's completely starved. And granted, it might be important to try and they played a low block Crystal Palace. They defended with every man behind the ball for almost the entirety of the game, so it's difficult to break them down. But we need to find a way against these teams that are going to sit back. If a team sits back, that means we're going to have all the possession, all the pressure mount on them. But teams are too easily dealing with that at the moment. If you allow City to do that for 90 minutes, they're going to score 4 or 5 goals. If you allow City, if you sit in a low block and it's attack after attack after attack, and you're just trying to defend resolutely and sort of, let's say they're 1-0 up, grind out a victory, it just doesn't happen. Although they haven't been great I say they haven't been great so far this season, but for City standards, they haven't been great so far this season. But they find a way all the time. They find a way. That's what we need to be. We need to be able to take these teams in a low block, because United are too easy to play against at the moment. You defend in a low block, even if you're going to create a few opportunities, most likely there's going to be a mistake that leads to a goal. So as long as you defend resolutely in a low block, you'll get your chances and you'll probably score, because there's too many big individual errors. And that's how you play against United. And it doesn't matter what quality of opposition you are, whether you're a top 6 side, whether you're a team like Brentford, who are looking really poor this season, whether you're Burnley, it doesn't matter. You've still got a chance against United by doing that. So yeah, it is concerning, and as Ten Hag said, hopefully this is a turning point.
James.
Eric, as you said, the goals come from an individual error. Yeah, and that seems to be happening more and more. Why is that? Is it the pressure on?
It was not even an individual error. It would be less concerning if it was an individual error. Let's say if it was just Casemiro that gave away the ball and then they scored. No, Casemiro gave away the ball. Lindelof, terrible clearance that went straight to them, and then terrible block. And then Onana should have saved it. 3 individual errors, and if one of them doesn't happen, they don't score. That's the issue. It's multiple players.
on the players? Because obviously things aren't going well at the moment. What can you do to change that? Because you wouldn't expect that from someone like Casemiro.
First of all, when you can't handle the pressure, don't play here. Because and those players, they are so experienced. These are so high quality players, so they have to take responsibility. And so I don't point to one player, but I see it in the sum up from the start in the season. You have to take responsibility. So defending, also on the ball, you have to take responsibility. And in the start of the season, I had some remarks in, say, defending with a goal and matching running from the opponent. And now, sometimes we're dealing with the ball, or in decisive moments, we have to recognize as a team that we need leadership to have a good organization. And we don't always have, as I just expressed, we have a free kick, and we are not in formation, and we start to play. And from there on, it's our easy, avoidable mistakes, and it has to be out of our game if we want to be successful. But the good point is, this team has spirit. This team has a strong character, and show belief, and in togetherness with the fans. I'm sure you have your fight every season into the season, and that can be helpful. That can be a foundation from here on to build on.
Yeah. Yeah, like what he said at the start was, if you play for Manchester United, you have to be able to sort of handle this pressure, which is true. And he says, we've got players. I mean, undoubtedly, the character of the players. I mean, like the question was alluding to Casemiro. How is like Casemiro making these individual mistakes? What do you do? And Casemiro can handle the pressure. He's 5 times Champions League winner. It's with Casemiro. It's not anything to do with handling the pressure. Like it's to do with other reasons. Casemiro doesn't play at home for Manchester United versus Brentford and think, oh my God, this is huge. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm so nervous. It's not to do with the pressure of playing for Manchester United with Casemiro. Maybe it's to do with age. I hope it's not to do with age, not yet, because we've only had him for 1 season, basically. I hope it's just poor form and he improves. You would think it would be a gradual decline with Casemiro if you with age, not an off the cliff. But there are players that you can say, okay, they can't handle they might not be able to handle the pressure. But going through the team, you could say, I mean, Harry Maguire, there's question marks whether he can handle the pressure, but he played well. Lindelof, I mean, he's been playing for Manchester United a long time, but can he handle the pressure of going into the first team? Christian Eriksen, I mean, he's played for Spurs, but that's different to Manchester United. Mount played for Chelsea, another top club, again, might be different to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes. I mean, all these players, I don't think it's about handling pressure, to be honest. I really don't. They're all internationals. They've all played in major tournaments, in World Cups. I don't think it's about not being able to handle the pressure of being a Manchester United player. I think it's other reasons.
Last two, Phil and Laurie. When we look back at the summer, there's all sorts of, as ever with United, there's, will he be coming, will he be going, whatever. There was a lot of suggestions that Scott might have been one of those who would be going. Was there ever any chance that he would be one of those who would be going in the summer? How close did he come to leaving? Or was he never, ever going to be allowed to go in your book?
No, what it is, when there's the right price, then it's every player has a price. But
you know what? He's spot on. And I love the honesty. However, most managers won't say that. Everyone has a price. It is true. Absolutely everyone. He takes things, like, this is what I love about Erik ten Hag. He takes things so literally. You know, most managers, like with Klopp with Salah, when Saudi Arabia came in, was like, no, he's not for sale. No price, we'll get him. That's not true. If Saudi Arabia turned around and said, 500 million for Salah right now, 500 million, Liverpool would take it. Klopp would take it, even if they can't spend it right then in that summer transfer window, right? Everyone has a price. If in January a team turns around and says, obviously I'm talking theoretically because nobody would. For Højlund, if somebody says, right, we're going to give you 600 million for Højlund, even though he's just signed for United, we would go, oh, yeah, Højlund, yeah, I think we'll accept that. So everybody has a price. It's just what that is. They just didn't meet the valuation. Now, the fact that he hasn't answered that and said, no, he wasn't for sale, we're happy he's in the squad, maybe he was on the market. Now, that's the difference of being on the market to somebody not being on the market and then you just get an offer for him.
But he has a big value. And
yeah, well, there you go. Had a big value. The valuation wasn't met.
So sportive, so also economic. So I want to have a player like Scott McTominay in the squad. And Scott McTominay, as I just expressed, he is United. He's Man United in everything. And for every minute, he will fight for the badge. So those players, you need in your squad. And yes, as everyone else, fighting for his place. And yeah, still, we are now in October. Normally in October you have to find your start 11. We are, by a lot of injuries, we are not there. So we have to still find our best balance.
Does that mean no one can approach your valuation of Scott?
No.
Obviously not. That's why he's at the club, my guy.
Last question, Lauren.
Hi, Eric. It was bleak at 1-0 down, first successive Premier League defeat on the cards. You mentioned that it can be a turnaround, this result. How do you make that the case and not just sort of one-off?
I think
let me rewind that. I mean, it's not sustainable, is it? It's fantastic that we did it. It's lovely. It stays in the memory. Like, even say this season turns out to be a dark season, right? Where we're absolutely terrible, and it continues. I love even in moments of darkness, even in seasons like this, we can find some joy. You know, I always think about it because it's so prominent in my mind. The season in which we're absolutely terrible, we still had that under Ollie, we still had that famous Paris night in Paris. You know, those memories stay with you, even in terrible seasons.
You mentioned that it can be a turnaround, this result. How do you make that the case and not just sort of one-off?
But it's not sustainable.
I think those games give fuel to a dressing room, and that they know how far they have to go to get results, and that it can't be easy going. And in football, it's eaten or you get eaten. And too many times in the first start of the season, we got eaten by opponents who are more hungry, and that can't be. And it has to go away. And every player has, on every second he's on the pitch, he has to deliver that. And that is the demand and the standard. And when you do that, we have seen last season, then you get a determined team. And we were not always determined on every occasion in games. And you get hammered for it. And this has to change.
Yeah, that's a worry though, isn't it? That a team, is a bit of a juxtaposition, isn't it? Big word. You can tell I've got an English GCSE. You can't on one hand say, this team has the foundations, it has the spirit, it has the fight, it has the togetherness with the fans. they fight for the badge, and then right at the end of the press conference say, you know, at the start, the players weren't really asked, to be honest. You know, the teams wanted it more than us. I mean, you're saying two different things there. You're saying the right things. You're saying the things that the fans are saying. You're like a projection of everything that the fans were saying. You know, why are the midfielders not tracking back? Why are they just jogging back? You know, that he's saying exactly what the fans said at the time in those matches. Like they wanted it more than us. But I think this is actually the first time that he sort of said it. He said it sort of out loud about that. It's a bit revisionary because I don't think he said it at the time. But at least he's admitted that now. And yeah, the fans will completely agree with that. You know, in some matches where we've looked terrible, it's looked like that, like the other team wants it more. But yeah, I think that is it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So that is it for the video. I do appreciate you guys for watching. Almost 30 minutes. I don't know how much. Yeah, so we've turned this 9 minutes 50 video into. So I've added 20 minutes of waffle on top now. Hopefully it's not waffle. Hopefully you find it entertaining. Hopefully you find it entertaining than just listening to Ten Hag himself. You know, getting a Man United fans my point of view on the answers, on the questions, etc. But I do appreciate you guys for watching. That was Ten Hag's press conference. Please do like and subscribe. Later on, I'm also going to do the player post-match interview reaction as well. So you got two videos today. That's going to be released sort of after work. So after sort of about 5 p.m, something like that. 4 p.m, 5 p.m. So I do appreciate you guys for watching. Again, do like and subscribe. The Declan is strong. So please do join the Declan. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you get notified whenever I'm live. Every single weekday. Now it's the international break, so I might struggle to find things every single weekday. I go on holiday on Thursday. Well, I say holiday. I'm going to go to a friend's wedding from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So coffee talks throughout those 5 days, they probably won't exist. But I'll be back on Tuesday. But until then, this Tuesday, Wednesday, so 2 more days of coffee talk in the morning around 7:30, 8 a.m, around that kind of time. I'll be releasing a video, and following that, usually Monday to Friday, every morning, I'll have a video for you boys. I appreciate you guys for watching. You've been absolute legends, and I'll see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.